A year ago today, New York lost a prominent Adirondacker and civil rights leader. Alice Paden Green died last August at the age of 84. She founded and directed the Center for Law and Justice and spent most of her life advocating for incarcerated people across New York State. Green grew up in the Champlain Valley, and it's there that she started hosting an annual gathering to bring people from different backgrounds together to talk about race and racism. We hear about how Green's family, friends, and admirers are continuing that tradition on today's Story of the Day.
Support for Story of the Day comes from Long Run Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor in Lake Placid, providing comprehensive wealth management, retirement, and financial planning solutions. LongRunWealth.com. And the Devlin Inn and Suites, Lake Placid, welcoming families, athletes, and groups to the Olympic Village, offering Adirondack mountain views and dog-friendly accommodations. TheDevlinNY.com.
Hi, I'm Kara Chapman, and for David Summerstein, it's Wednesday, August 20th. Up first, the chair of the Clinton County Republican Committee is backing a candidate in the anticipated special election to replace Assemblyman Billy Jones of Chateauguay Lake. Jones will soon step down to take a vice president position at Clinton Community College. That'll set up a special election for the remaining year of his term. In a special election, the relevant county party committee chairs select the candidates. Jerica Manning of the Clinton County GOP is backing Brent Davison, who's currently serving as commander of the state police in Troop B. Davison will retire from that role. In a statement, Manning said Davison, quote, understands the real-world implications and consequences of decisions made in Albany. Due to weighted voting, Manning has a 57% say in selecting the nominee, though the official nomination won't take place until after Jones resigns. Manning's endorsement follows a public dispute between Congresswoman Elise Stefanik and the Clinton County GOP over the special election nominee. Stefanik has endorsed Malone Village Mayor Andrea Dumas. EPA Secretary and former New York Congressman Lee Zeldin visited Long Island this week to unveil new federal guidelines for battery energy storage. The guidelines encourage local control when it comes to building the controversial battery energy storage facilities, but they don't require it. Zeldin spoke at a firehouse in Hauppauge.
We're here to help. We're putting out the guidelines based on our own experiences, our own lessons learned. We're offering the technical expertise that we have.
Local leaders across New York have raised health and safety concerns about battery energy storage sites. That's after 3 facilities caught fire, including one in Jefferson County. Alice Paden Green was born in South Carolina, but she was a child of the Adirondacks. Her family moved to the Champlain Valley in the 1940s, where her father was one of several black men who found work in the iron ore mines. Green and her family lived in the predominantly white hamlet of Witherby. She described that experience in an interview with NCPR last August.
Black people were treated differently. When someone else, mainly black people or any other people of color, came into the area, they were considered outsiders.
Green eventually moved to Albany, but her ties to the Adirondacks remained strong long after her childhood. She started hosting an annual gathering in Essex County to bring people from different backgrounds together, encouraging candid conversations about race and racism in the region. A year after her death, dozens of Green's family members, friends, and admirers gathered once again to honor her life and legacy. David Escobar was there and brings us this story.
Everyone here knows Alice Paden Green was an accomplished woman. She held multiple advanced degrees and authored several books. But Jean Thompson says Green never forgot where she came from.
When you actually just hung out with her, the old accent came out and the simple terms and the Paden family mannerisms and all that were still there. Mm-hmm. And it's like holding these two things at once. And I think that was her power.
Thompson grew up alongside the Paden family in Witherby. He now lives in Massachusetts. But for the past 3 summers, he's traveled back home to attend the community discussions on race in the Adirondacks that Green hosted in Essex.
I think it's one more indication of her fearlessness. It was sort of like, so what could happen? We're bringing people together. So it is the first time they've really thought about their racism. But better now than never, and if not now, when?
The gatherings began after Green attended her 50th high school reunion back in the Adirondacks. She noticed former classmates asserting that racism didn't exist during their childhood, but that wasn't Green's experience.
And she was just, stopped in her tracks and sort of said, I've got work to do here.
So Green started an experiment, gathering Thompson and other locals to talk about their childhood experiences with racism. He says the first year was a resounding success.
We switched from coffee to tea to beer and whatever, but never came off the porch. Those 12 hours are probably the most valuable 12 hours I've had about the issue.
Those conversations kept flowing. Last year, Green's group spent an entire weekend discussing the state's ongoing reparations commission. That was Younga Webb's first time attending. She used to work in Lake Placid and Vermont.
So I traveled from my new home in Pennsylvania because I knew I had to be here. I was here a year ago for the first time when Alice was here leading it. She insisted that I come. She even created space for me and said, "Everybody listen, this is what she's working on."
Webb has worked as a diversity, equity, and inclusion organizer in schools for 15 years. On the side, she runs a nonprofit that helps Black families buy homes and build generational wealth. She credits that work in large part to Green's mentorship.
She's one of the few people in this region that I felt were action people. We are really good at talking about things and remembering history and recalling and speculating and wondering, but Alice is an action person, and so she's inspired me to continue the action. Conversation must continue to take place, but then there are a few of us that need to just literally be the movers and the shakers.
Green's actions extended far beyond the Adirondacks. Her advocacy group, the Center for Law and Justice, continues to push for police accountability and fight for incarcerated individuals in Albany. She also sat on multiple statewide commissions addressing mass incarceration. Deb Pravat says despite those responsibilities, Green always made time to give back to her community.
Anytime I ever asked her to come meet with a student, she would always say yes. She was right there, engaged. She was very intentional. She wanted students to be involved. She wanted them to be their own agents.
Pravat first met Green while studying for her doctoral degree in Albany. She attended her celebration of life last fall. She says seeing both familiar and new faces come out to honor Green is proof of the late activist's imprint on the world.
What this means to me is something that I was actually concerned about. Will people still know her? Will her legacy? I know for sure that she continues to live. There's no question in my mind, right? And not only that, we now have to be as intentional as she was.
Before the day even began, some wondered how this gathering could continue without its founding matriarch. Green's husband, Charles Toohey, says she would have wanted to keep them going.
Her legacy is this. This property should be a living, breathing example to the world of how people can get along and think about serious issues that are part of our society and our country, and we can have a civil conversation on the lawn anytime we want.
The word legacy came up again and again over the course of the afternoon. Toohey says his late wife's unwavering, sometimes bold fight for justice doesn't end with her. It continues with everyone she knew.
You don't want to be like Alice, but you want to take from her strength and find your strength in your own particular voice, how that means. But don't just be passive. Her legacy is, if you see something wrong, do something about it.
Even if they can't be like Alice, many are determined to keep her light alive. David Escobar, North Country Public Radio, Essex.
David Escobar is a Report for America Corps member. He reports on diversity issues in the Adirondacks through a partnership between North Country Public Radio and the Adirondack Explorer. We have more news all the time on our website, ncpr.org. Music today by Caitlin Scholl of Lake Placid and Martha Gallagher of Keene. I'm Kara Chapman, North Country Public Radio.